welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Sharon, aka the Melanin Nostalgic Runner, and today we are reviewing, continuing our review for Young, Famous, and African, Season 2, Episode 2, and it's called Mask Off. And I am looking forward to this because I believe it's going to be nuts. And if you have had the chance to, if you haven't had the chance, I do have another review up the day before, and I'm doing this episodic, one episode at a time, even though all of it's out right now on Netflix if you want to check it out. But if you're not sure if this is a show for you, have no fear. I'm reviewing it and I'm going to go over it, and hopefully you're interested enough to check it out and, support that content, But before we go into the episode, I do want to make a disclaimer. The first episode, or the first review I had, was much longer because I was also giving you a synopsis of all the characters. I'm not going to be doing that every single time, but I wanted you to know at least who I was talking about and go from there. I might use pictures to describe the people again, just because, especially if you're new to watching this reality show, I want you guys to know who I'm talking about, basically. Anyway, let's get into it. So the episode starts with the woman who kind of brings everyone together, recapping the party and how much of a disaster it truly was, because she was there from the beginning to the end, and she's, on her investigator, she's about to investigate some things, try to figure out what is happening with this group, what's going on, because prior to, this party, she didn't realize things were as messy as they were, because the wedding was good, everything else was good towards the end of last season, the thing that I mentioned, minus like a divide here and there, but it wasn't this bad. So she is now meeting up with the girls, and I think it's the next day, and the girls that she's meeting up with Caitlin, because again, Caitlin has no dog in the fight, and she's the only one who kind of had no beef with no one. And she also did invite Annie because she's trying to get to the bottom of what is going on between Swanky and Annie, because no one knew until that gathering how bad it really was. So I believe they're kind of doing that thing in reality shows where there's things going on in one area and there's things going on in another thing. So they moved to another scene, which is happening, I think, simultaneously, where it's Swanky getting Nadia and together to figure out what is going on, because they both abruptly left when Swanky brought his friend, I believe her name's Niobe. I'll put her name here because she's a new character. She's one who has issues with Nadia. So now at the same time, Swanky's meeting up with Nadia to find out what is good. Okay, so while Annie, Conti, and Caitlin, they're talking, at the same time, there's Swanky is actually meeting up with Nadia, because he's trying to figure out why did all three of them kind of like got up like Destiny's Child, was just like and exit stage right when his friend showed up. And also basically when he's asking the questions like, so y'all not good? She's being very short, being very just like snappy with him about it, and not really giving anything. So we still don't know what the issues are with that and why they fell out. And honestly, this is what is reminding me why I do not, and I'll just say it right now, this is a little sidebar, I do not see it for Nadia. I don't think she's meant for reality TV, realistically, because she doesn't share anything. Only thing she does is she creates confusion, chaos and confusion, but doesn't share her real life at all. everything that she shares is very superficial. And that's, I think I alluded to that in the last video, and that is one thing that I was hoping maybe that was just some first season jitters, but she's already kind of repeating the patterns and not really sharing anything about her. Because I know nothing about her. Like, I feel like everyone else, I have an idea of who they are. Whether it's representative or not, that's a whole nother thing, but at least have an idea. So the other thing is that happened, so he basically didn't get anything from her on like why did she do that. She didn't really answer the question, but instead she turned it around on him and asked him what's going on with him and Annie. And then simultaneously, while that's happening, in the other scene, Conti and Caitlin are literally asking Annie the same thing. What's going on with you and Swanky? Now, Swanky's response was like, hey, I don't want to tell the business until I speak to Annie first, and I'm open to doing that. I'm open to, he didn't say clear the air, he said a face off, because he is just being, he don't see it for her anymore. So whatever she did, he don't see it for her anymore. But, and so that's how he feels about that. And then Annie on the other side is like really kind of snappy and really just meh about it. And so to me, it's another case where it just seems like, I don't know, Annie's kind of doing the similar thing as what Nadia's doing, and I don't like that. If you're talking in real life, if you're conversing with friends that are trying to get the bottom of a situation, you're not going to be snappy like that. There's a way of like saying you're not ready to reveal what's going on yet without being really negative about it, if you will, even if you are in your feelings, because the people who are asking are not the reason why you're in your feelings. They want to know why you're in your feelings. You know what I mean? So anyway, after that, they basically, Conti's basically just like, look, I need people to clear the air. I need this to be resolved. So that's kind of what it was there. And so we move on to the next scene. And then the next scene is Diamond and he invites Phantasma to the studio. I'm giving that look because he is feeling her, and he's saying that he also wants to listen to her music, which they do, and I do respect her for that. And that's one thing that I will say that's different from her versus Nadia. Nadia is a musician, right? But I haven't heard any of her music. She hasn't highlighted that at all on this show. And in my opinion, if you're not going to share any part of yourself, at least promote yourself. Do one of those things. And Phantasma, she's doing that right away. So her music is out there. And it's clear that she's a dance hall artist. And I kind of, from what I heard, this little snippet, it was good. And they were showing him one of her music videos that she has. So I might check her out, quiet as kept. But it went from like professional to like rated R real quick. They weren't literally doing anything physical, but the conversation went all the way to the gutter when it comes to the sexuals of it all. So yeah, Diamond is going after what he wants, and apparently he wants her right now, and she's entertaining it. So, and it's a little bit more gutter than how he was when he was approaching Nadia. Because I don't think Nadia really was feeling him like that. I think she just is kind of, I don't know. I'm gonna try to stop dragging that girl, but you can tell, I just don't see it for her. Because just her personality, she's not, what personality is the question I'm asking. So, in this next scene, it is Conti meeting up with Nadia. Because I think I already mentioned Conti sees Nadia as kind of like a little sister. And I kind of agree with that because she does give little sister vibes. Like, just the way she handles things is pretty mature. And Conti could teach her a thing or two of how to handle conflict. But basically, She's basically trying to get a read on the situation. So that's actually why Conti's being with Nadia, because she's pretty good at reading people. So they're conversing, trying to figure out, first of all, she's like, where were you after the party? And then she basically, is recapping with Conti that she met up with Swanky. Conti had her little shady views of how she feels about that. And but it's not serious. It's not real shade. And basically they're still basically kind of just recapping this party and how everyone's energy is literally just causing this ripple effect with their group. So because Annie and Swinky, and I think I even alluded to it in the first review, them two together, it's a force. But them two not getting along, it's messing up the whole vibe of the group. And they're basically just trying to figure out what's going on. So it got turned around real quick to figure out what is really going on with Annie. Because I think they're already seeing that the problem isn't really Swanky, the problem's Annie. Because Annie's the one who has problems with multiple people. It's not just one person. And so they're finally calling a thing and finally getting to it. And it comes up that her husband, Innocent, aka Two-Face, impregnated someone else, again, outside their marriage, after this wedding renewal that they had last season. That's the rumor, that's the streets are talking, basically. Because they also asked, where's Annie at? Annie's back in Nigeria. She flew back. And this is why. And so they're basically showing their news of this news getting out there. Okay. You saw my reaction. Kimpire from YouTube, shout out to Kimpire, made an appearance in this. And he basically is talking about it also because, when I told you Innocent has controversy, this is the 6th. 6th child outside their marriage. But she gonna stick beside him though. They show Swanky. And Swanky, it's so bad that he's actually putting his beef aside that he has with Annie. And he actually just reached out to Annie via text to reach out to her and figure out what's going on. Are you good? And it shows him crying because he's just even though he has his issues with her right now, they used to be best friends. So let's be clear there. They used to be best friends. And I think when it comes to whatever's going on with her, I don't think anyone wished out on the worst enemy, but also too, that's still, I guess for me, I personally don't get it because I would never stick with, I'm not going to stick beside a man that does that multiple times, that does the same repetitive behavior over and over again, expecting different results. I've left men for less, or it's a little different. I'm a little confused, but that's what's happening right now. So they did the scenes again where it was simultaneous. So while they panned over to Swanky, now they're back to Conti and Nadia, and they're basically trying to come up with a plan to basically resolve all the issues because they've called out who has the issues and they want to resolve it. Conti's idea is she wants to bring the whole entire group together again to try to resolve it, and Nadia says that's not a good idea, and I agree with her for once. She thinks they should tackle it each beef at a time to resolve it. I actually agree with her on that. So that's what's happening there. But there's a seat that's open, and the third seat is for another new character. His name is Lewis, and he's from Naip. I'm not even gonna do it. I'm sorry, my African geography is not the best. I'll just put the country here. And also, when it comes to enunciations of it all, as you can tell, I struggle. So I will put the name of the country he's originally from. But the reason why I'm also kind of flustered is brother is fine. I mean, fine. Fine. And he looks tall. He looks tall. So yeah. Eye candy at the bare minimum. We'll see what he's giving them. Because I don't want to be fooled by these men. Because I've been fooled by one of them already. And I think you know which one. There's some shade. And this seems like we're still going to have our seasons the way we had it before. I'm laughing right now because in this scene, we're still in the same scene. This guy, he's really confident. Oh, borderline cocky. But because he's so fine, he's kind of getting away with it just a little bit. And so, but anyway, after they do the introduction and he's saying he's that guy, he's the finest man in the room, just talking his ish, right? And this is just him doing it on his own. He finally sits down and they're just kind of like talking about how they know each other. And so he's mentioning he already knows Nadia. Nadia's like, oh yeah, did we work together? Like she's kind of confused. And he mentions a music video and he's all talking about like, yeah, I was in the music video, like making him sound like he was like, the leading actor. And he's just like, oh yeah, there's a lot of extras in that video. Just deflated him. And then shady ass production plays this music like womp womp womp, like that kind of music, just deflating him. And I'm sorry, this is why you're getting the reaction you're getting from me, because I'm cackling, because I was like, this dude was talking so much ish just for Nadia to deflate him. I'm sorry. She's starting to win me over. We'll see. We will see. So we find out that this Louis guy, besides knowing Conti, because Conti knows everybody, because remember, she's the South African socialite. Basically, she leaves and leaves Nadia and him there. And now they're talking like tea a little bit. Which is funny because she's the one who like contemplated him a little bit there. And his response is like, I am nobody's extra. But of course he's not saying that to her face. He said that in the confessional. But basically the conversation, who's all going to be there. And it turns out he does not like Diamond. Apparently they have an ex in common. They didn't mention who the ex was, but he wants to iron some things out with him because he was invited to the champagne party that Conti just decided she's going to like. I think this is where she's going to try to have another Ponderosa. So trying to have another Ponderosa, and it's going to be the champagne party that she's going to put together. Because she asked everyone like, hey, do you guys like champagne? So that's what they're going to do. But yeah, so Nadia, her messy self's like, no, you should still come. So in the next scene, we finally have Diamond meeting up with Andy. So Andale. I don't know why I call him Andy. Andale. They finally are going to meet up to have a sit down, have a Ponderosa, one-on-one, via with some hookah, because I guess, right? But it seems like it was Diamond's idea. He finally is ready to talk to him and really hash it out and figure out what's going on with Zari and him and how should they proceed. So Diamond wastes no time. And that's one thing about Diamond, because I think I mentioned in the previous scene with like with Fontana, he doesn't waste time and he doesn't mince words. And he got right to it. They sat down, gave the salute, just like and he's just like, out of all the women, why her? And he's just like, and then Andale's response It's like, don't you want her to be happy? And he's like, and Diamond's response like, but I know how stupid you are. So I don't know if this is going to get resolved. That's all. Okay. So I thought the scene was going to go left, and it didn't actually. Andale finally was like, okay. He kind of said his piece, which he wasn't wrong. No lies were told here. He was like, you're coming to me as a friend saying you're not ready to settle down and you're just still ready to zip and zab and zoo it. And basically you're treating her like crap when she's a great woman, which is true. Two things can be true. She could be a great woman. She could deserve better than what Diamond's giving her. But from Diamond's perspective, why you though? Like, so Diamond didn't have anything to say in response because he's just like, I did not treat her well. So yeah, this is how this will happen. And he's like, and Andale did own up and he's like, you know what? If you feel this way, if you feel a certain way about it, and you still don't really know what you want when it comes to if you want her or not, I will step away. And so he said, I will step away from the situation. So he did finally own up to the fact to say like, look, I'll step away from the situation, but like you're telling me that you want to be single and all that, you know, basically doing that guy talk, like I don't really want her, but really he still wants her type thing. And he's like, what is that? So I think even though it's not really resolved, they at least have an understanding, which is a step forward because honestly, that could have went way left. The next thing is Swanky meeting up with Fontana, and they're, again, I think most of the dialogue to basically start things off is recapping the party because a lot happened at that party. And that's actually how we met a lot of the new people on this show, including Fontana. And Swanky got right to it, didn't waste any time. Like, so did you do anything else? Like, did you talk to anyone else after this party? And she's mentioning what happened with Diamond. And Swanky immediately is side-eyeing her because he knows what kind of time Diamond be on, which is the that kind of time. And she was like, yeah, there's a little bit of flirting when it comes to that. She kind of kept it cute and didn't really divulge, but we'll see if she divulges more because Swanky's good for getting people to talk, usually. Fontana's going to be a problem. She's going to be a problem. But, because right now she's already in the business. So she's saying that she can have her fun with Diamond and not catch the feelings, but yes, she's already talking trash about how Zari and Diamond are too close for co-parenting. Pick a lane, girl, and stay there. Either you want to just smash the man and not care about what the situation is with that, or you want to be in a relationship with them and you're going to be all in it. But I feel like I'm going to be saying this a lot when it comes to her. Girl, you just got here. Like, what? You just got here. So in the next scene, we have Quentin, aka DJ Naked. He is basically talking about, hey, he got to clean up his dad bod because he's getting one, according to him. And so he invites Diamond and Andale to join them because apparently he doesn't know that they've met since then to iron out their issues. But yeah, Diamond shows up first, and Naked is basically drilling him on what's good with it. So Andale shows up next in all black at the gym. But I will say this, as he was walking, doing his walk onto the scene, he was looking fine. And for those, I kind of Easter egged earlier that there's someone on this show that's a little bit more my type. It's Andale. I just don't like how he's moving, but aesthetic wise, yes, sir. But so Nick is just trying to get to the bottom of it. Like, hey, can y'all at least coexist? Are we boys? Because basically, what the common theme of this episode is, hey, people's energies being off is messing up the whole dynamic of the whole entire group. So Nick is trying to fix it because they were the three amigos before all this went left. And they're trying to fix it because they were friends. So they basically, all three of them kind of hugged it out because Nick, it was like, okay, we're gonna hug it out because it seems like y'all can coexist. So cool, hugging it out. So okay, that's done. And now the subject is talking about the gym, them being at the gym, and the physiques of it all. And Fantana gets mentioned, and then Diamond's asking all these questions now. So the cat is getting out of the bag that he's really liking that girl. So the dynamic is really interesting between the three of them because all three of them are still talking the way they used to in season 1 before things went left. But in the confessional, Diamond's giving it up in those confessionals because he's trying to keep it cute, like in front of everyone. But in the confessional, he's like, because Andale, apparently he doesn't believe Andale's gentleman act. And I don't either. I'll say that I don't either. And the reason why I say that is because, season 1. Season 1, there were some things that were said as far as what he has going on that he didn't divulge much of, but it did come out in season 1. He's got baby mamas, plural, as well. I mean, maybe you could change your ways once you have multiple baby mamas, but you had to do something to have multiple baby mamas, right? You had to have a certain type of mentality for that to be a thing, right? So I think Diamond might be trying to pull his card. He's like, dude, we see each other. That's why I don't want you for her. Like, if Zari is going to move on, it needs to be with, someone who really ain't about that life. And because they've been friends for so long, he's like, dude, you're lying. So we'll see if this implodes, but right now, Diamond's being a little bit of a confessional gangster right now. The subject also, this scene, they're talking about a lot. So this is one of the more longer scenes in this episode I'm noticing. And so what they're talking about now is the controversy with Innocent and Annie and the alleged other baby that just came out. And they basically are just showing their devastation of it. So that's kind of like that's the other story beat besides some of the conflict is also that new development. And Andale, I think I mentioned in the first review, he's really, really close with Annie, like actually like brother-sister type. That's kind of what they got going on. Because they are a lot alike. But the difference is Andale is a lot more emotionally mature. The accountability, both of them, I'm still questioning both on that accountability part. But he's a little bit more emotionally mature if he holds it together. And so they're asking what can they do? And they're like, we just need to be there for her. And the idea again is, Conti has that party. Let's bring us all together. This is still the theme. Let's try it. And Andale is like, hey, if she's not ready, then we can't force her. So I think this is going to be more to come with that because it seems like even from the episode, they don't even know if it's true or not. It's a rumor. So, yeah. So the conversation, the main conversation of the hour of the person, the subject matter of the hour is what I'm trying to say, finally pops up on the scene, and it is Annie. And she's actually literally talking to Innocent in this scene, like via FaceTime. And she's saying she don't believe any of the rumors. It's fake news. all that. She's sticking beside him, not believing none of it. And then in the middle of this, she sees that Swanky sent her the message, and then she just throws her phone. And instead of being upset, instead of being like, oh my gosh, okay, they're checking up on me, she gets defensive right away and is upset that all her friends believe the rumors. This is what I mean by her emotional maturity. It's just so sadly lacking. It's ridiculous. Like, I don't know. Again, as I said, I'm not sure how much of her I can take because she's high-key professional victim. It's like, girl. So in the next scene, Conti finally has a party and basically trying to bring everyone together. I'm not sure if Annie's going to show up because right now they didn't really go into whether she's showing up or not. But yeah. And basically Conti calls it intervention or friend-intervention, basically. She wants to try to bring everyone together. And yeah, so this is basically probably going to be the conclusion of this episode. So far at the party, some of the people have already showed up. So not everyone yet. I'm not sure if this is going to be everyone that shows up or not. But right now, and everyone, of course, and this is why I love this show, everyone makes their grand entrance and kind of like walks with their outfits and stuff together. So Conti is the host. Louis is going to be, Lewis is going to be kind of like the surprise. She wants him to be the centerpiece, is what she calls him, to basically introduce him to the group. And then Naked and Caitlin show up together, of course, because, you know, they're a couple. And then after that, then Andale shows up, Nadia shows up, not together, just separate. And then Zari shows up. And Zari's giving everyone their pleasantries. And Andale is like, ma'am, how are you doing? To like Zari. And Zari's like, giving him the side of like, what is this? What is this energy? Because he is trying to change the energy. And then right away, she's like, okay, I'm not standing for this. What's good? And fortunately, she's having this conversation before Diamond's there. And she's like, are you friend zoning me now? What is this? And he's like, no. And he's explaining that he had the conversation with Diamond and he's going to step aside out of respect. And so Diamond arrives and sees him two talking and he still feels away. Even though actually Andale was trying to do the right thing this time. And he's like, hey, and explaining the situation. But Zari ain't here for it. She's like, I'm my own woman. I don't care. That's how she feels about it. But Andale, I think really he's trying to play the long game because I think he really does like Zari, like for real. Now, if he's a good person, is going to treat her right, that's the part that I'm like, Diamond might have a point there, but I'm not sure because he knows both of them better than we do. But what Andale, he's not taking, and I didn't catch it when he was having the conversation with Diamond. He kind of made it seem like he was taking a step back out of respect for Diamond. I don't think that's the only reason why he's taking a step back. I think he wants to take a step back to make sure that he's making the right decisions when it comes to him and Zari and for them to actually all work. Because Andale kind of wants to have his cake and eat it too. He wants to have that friendship back with Diamond, but he still does want to be with Zari. Let's not get that twisted. It's just he wants to do it in a way where it's more respectable. But from Diamond's standpoint, I don't see how he can do that now at this point because it's not, it was approached wrong to begin with. So and so Naked comes in between them two, between Andale and Zari, and basically say, hey, Diamond's here. Basically trying to kind of again doing the same thing as what I said, that Zari's not having anything of it, because I don't think I mentioned it was Naked that was the one who said hey, Diamond's here, yo, and basically trying to make things clean, but Zari doesn't care. because she wants Andale. She already said she's in love with the dude. So right after, Andale chooses to walk away while Diamond goes and talks to Zari. Zari and Diamond, they give each other a greet as if nothing happened there, because Diamond doesn't always display how he feels about things. Again, like I said, he kind of displays everything. He gives it up in the confessionals a lot more than actually in person. He's more of a time and place kind of person. And so Andale wants to Swanky. He's just like, I can't even talk to her now. And Swanky's like, dude, you need to leave it alone for now. Just leave it alone. Which tells me that Andale really don't get it. He said the words, but he don't get it. Which, I'm not sure, like I said, not sure if it's really resolved. I think they put a pin in it, but child, it's still better than it was on the first episode as far as attention. They still can at least coexist, it seems like, for the most part. But Andale probably needs to really, when he says take a step back, he needs to do more than the baby step he took back. He really needs to take a full-on actual step back, for real. So Andale mentions like, hey, did you invite Babylon? I'm going to just keep putting her name there because I still cannot figure out what her name is. Because they always say it so fast where I don't get what her name is. And Connie's like, no, I invited the friends here. Connie don't mess with her. And it's so obvious. And then they show Bobbin actually in a confessional saying, had I been invited, would have RSVP'd and been there. So, because she's the only one that hasn't been featured in this episode. Because, yeah. I think one thing that has been the underlying thing towards the end of the last episode of this episode, I think there's going to be a new battle of who's the queen bee. Because Connie, in her mind, and actually kind of literally, at least from season 1, she's the queen bee of the group, and she wants to keep it that way. On the side note, Annie did show up, and Connie kind of got her together because she was upset that Annie just disappeared, didn't tell anyone that she went to Nigeria and all this other stuff. So, but yeah, now that everyone's there, Connie's like, okay, we're gonna clear this air and get to it. Of course, Louis did not get his cue right and showed up before they even ironed anything out. So Connie's like, okay, I guess you're gonna be here while the mess happens. So she was trying to orchestrate it, but maybe this is why he's eye candy and isn't the lead role that Nadia kind of alluded to. Missing cues, sir. Missing cues. So, after basically Louis just standing there, Connie's not introducing him because he missed his cue. And Connie is showing who she is, I think, this season. I don't think she's going to be the nice girl. Because she alluded in season 1 that she was going to be kind of like the Regina George. And she was, but like she was like a nicer Regina George. I would say she was more like Katie from like Mean Girls. Kind of. Not really. Now she's being like really Regina George. So right now she's basically said to Annie and Swanky, because they weren't getting along, F you both. And then she did the same thing with Andale. She said, Andale and Diamond, F you both. So she basically, in front of this new guy, in front of everyone, and now and I don't know what the intention was. Maybe she wants everyone to be mad at her instead of being mad at each other. Because it seems like that's what's about to happen right now. But, yikes. The tone and delivery. And I forgot. It ends where Andre straight went off on Connie. He did. He was like, no. And so that concludes it. Went all the way off of her and cleared the room and got her together. And rightfully so, because Connie was being disrespectful, mad disrespectful. But the thing is with her, she does everything for a reason and on purpose. So anyway, that concludes this episode of Young Famous and African. It was a good episode. I would say the first episode definitely it came with a bang. This episode was just it was kind of a recap episode, but you kind of need a recap episode after the first episode was so explosive. But this second episode was just pretty mild and not too much, and it was good. So, but yeah, I'm going to continue watching it. I believe I want to see how many more episodes we have left. Because it's not that long of a series. We got 7 more episodes to go, which is actually 2 more than they had in the first season. So yeah, hopefully we'll find out what happens next and go from there. And, yeah, it's getting a little wild, and I'm still enjoying it so far. But anyway, it's your girl Sharon, aka the Melanin Nostalgic Runner. Let me know if you get anything out of this content. But in the meantime, please like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. And I will see you next time. Bye.